How's it going, guys? Today we're looking at the final God for the Trial of the Gods card review / initial impressions, and that's gonna be Deception. And after this we're gonna have the neutral cards review, but let's jump right into one of the trickiest gods that you have in Gods Unchained. So the first card we have is Ludia's Deception. Target an opponent, choose a card in their hand and shuffle it into their deck. So basically, until now, you would play the inside card to be able to disrupt the opponent's combos, because you would be taking that card onto your hand, but it costs 5 mana. I've had some situations where it's obvious that he's gonna summon a Hydra next turn, or for example a Jotun, or there's a really obvious play, or a Demogorgon, and spending 5 mana in order to deal with it, I think it's too much. So this provides a healthy alternative. I don't know if this is gonna be good enough to go into control deception decks, but I have high hopes for it, so I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Next one we have Stolen Plans. In my opinion, another 4-star cards, because just for 1 mana you can delve a card of 2 different cards, so it's pretty good. I don't have anything else to say it. Like, delving is generally really good, and the fact that you are given the option of choosing either god, it's even better. Then we have Shadow of Lethanon. At the end of your turn, this creature gains hidden. At the start of your turn, this creature deals 1 damage to the opposing god. The only problem this has is its stat line. It's a 1/1. If it was 1/2, it would be much better, because with 1/1, it's susceptible to blast waves, to the star shards, and stuff like that. The really low cost magic spells, and like wildfires and stuff like that. So, but other than that, I think it's still pretty good because it gains hidden. And if you put 2 of these in the start, you're dealing 2 damage every turn, cheap damage, and they can't do anything against it. So it's pretty good if you're running an aggressive type of deception deck. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 4-star. Then we have Blessing of Deception. Gain 4 favor. Your creatures without hidden gain hidden for turn. So it gives hidden to every creature, and I think this is pretty powerful, because you had giving hidden to 2 creatures before. It costs 1 mana. I would have to compare that to that, because the gaining 4 favor is nothing. So I would still think this card's worse than that, because the other one's 1 mana. Essentially this is only worth it if you play it on 3 or more cards, but typically you're only going to be wanting to hide the cards that either have really good effects, or that give you cards from your opponent's god. So I don't think this is as good as the other one, so I'm gonna put this in the 3 stars. Then we have Satyr Hypnotist. At the end of your turn, a random enemy creature goes to sleep. If you played 2 of these in a turn, you're basically stalling like hell, and this is a really good staller. So I'm gonna have to give this 4 stars, because it can get out of hand super quickly and can be super annoying. Imagine playing against those deception decks that are always putting your creatures to sleep, and then on top of that, it doesn't even have to play any spells, because the Satyr Hypnotist does all the work for him. So it's pretty annoying. Then we have Larcenous Pen. 2 mana 1/3. When this creature attacks a god, you steal 3 of their favor. It's an okay card. For me, it's 3 stars, because it's not great. Stealing favor is good, but it's only 3 favor. If it was 5 or more, I would be much more inclined to give it 4 stars, but since it's not, 3 stars. Then we have 2 mana 2/3 Guild Siren. After this creature attacks a god, pull a random card from their hand into their deck, then they draw a card. So if it was just pulling cards from their hand into their deck, removing their options to play, this card would be bonkers. But since it's not easy, like, you're basically recycling the cards in their hand, and this might be even good for them, we don't know. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 2-star category. It needs to be just pulling a card from their hand to their deck. Then we have Fever Dreams. Target creature goes to sleep. Draw a card for each sleeping enemy creature. So you would play this with other cards that, for example, give sleep to 2 creatures and stuff like that, and then you would be drawing 3 cards for 4 mana. It might be good, but I'm still gonna put this in the 3 stars, because I don't see like why you would run this. There's much better options. Then you have Obsidian Dagger. which is the 3 mana 0/3 with an ability. Target creature goes to sleep, remove 1 durability. So it basically gives you 3 sleeps for 3 mana, which is okay. Compared to other cards, I would rather have the cards that put 2 enemy creatures to sleep. So I'm gonna put this in the 3 stars. Then we have Dream Stalker, Roar, destroy all sleeping creatures. And this is where the other cards start becoming better, because you can put any creature to sleep the turn before with Obsidian Dagger, and then you use Dream Stalker to destroy it. So it might be good. And if you combo this with the 1 mana put 2 enemy creatures to sleep, this is essentially a 6 mana 2/3 that destroys 2 creatures. So it's pretty good. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 4 stars. But the other cards are pretty bad. They're only good if they're comboed with this. Then at 5 mana we have Hooded Figure, Backline, Flank, and Hidden. It's gonna be pretty aggressive if you're running an aggressive deck. It's pretty good, but I'm still gonna put it in the 3 stars category. Then we have Elixir of the Panther. Pick one, add a copy of each enemy creature to your hand, or each enemy creature goes to sleep. I don't like this. This card's 2 stars in my opinion, because at 6 mana you have much better options for deceptions to either stall the game or do something else. Then we have Pen Marauder. When this creature attacks and as well Roar, reduce by 1 the cost of each non-deception, non-neutral card in your hand. So you would only reduce the cost of the cards that are from your opponent's cards. It might be good, but if you're copying the card on top of their deck, you're going to be getting neutral cards as well, so this doesn't become as good. So I'm going to put this in the 3 stars. Eventually they can patch it and buff it and just reduce the cost of 1 of each card that didn't start in your deck, for example. So that's a good option. Then we have 3 stars. Then we have Port of Authority. If you control another guild creature, copy 2 random cards from your opponent's deck to your hand. This is okay, but it's a 6 mana 7/3. It's gonna die super quickly, so I'm gonna put this in the 3 stars. Even if you're getting to a draw 2, I don't think this is good enough for deception, because you have better options. Then you have Trial of the Shadows. Fill your side of the board with Shadows of Lieutenant. It's the cats, yeah, never mind. So you're filling the board with the Shadow of Lieutenants. It's essentially, it deals 6 damage every turn to your opponent, which is good. The problem is this is 7 mana. If it was 5 mana, I would play with it, but since it's 7 mana, I think it's too much. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 2 stars. Then we have Orpheus Gill. Deal damage to each creature equals to its strength. For each creature destroyed, add a random card from opposing card's domain to your hand. So this is basically a hunter's trap times infinite. So every creature is dealt the damage, and if the opponent has a full board, you're dealing hunter traps to everything. So as long as you do it for more than, well, you could argue that this is worth at least 3 hunter traps, because 3 hunter traps would be 6 mana, and then the other 2 mana would be for each creature destroyed, you add a random card from the opposing card's domain to your hand. So that would be it. So, but I would still have to play it at a positive ROI against 4 hunter traps. So you need to play this against 4 creatures at least to be profitable. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 3 stars, because it's really hard to destroy 4 creatures right away with this card. And then we have we have Orpheus, the actual champion of Deception, which is has an interesting new mechanic. It has backline and deadly. After you play a card, play this creature to the board if it's in your hand, so you play it for free. It has backline, deadly, and hidden for 1 turn. I don't think this is good enough, because you would be playing this and this card goes onto the board. I would only like it if it had backline, deadly, ward, and hidden forever. It would be good, because then it would basically give you an option to get rid of one of the opponent's cards. But since it doesn't do that, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Then we have Hierophant Selenis. Give each other friendly creature whenever this creature damages your opponent. Copy a random card in your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. So basically it gives the effect to all of your cards. And this is where perhaps the 2 mana card that gives hidden to every creature on the board, the Blessing of Deception, might be pretty good in conjunction with this legendary card, the Selenis. It might be pretty good because then you're getting loads of cards every turn. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 4 stars. Then we have Orpheus Mask. After you play Deception card, the final champion weapon, the legendary relic. It's the same thing. You get durability for each card you play of that specific card. And then this one is remove 2 durability and pull target enemy creature into your opponent's hand. So I think this is pretty good. It's actually, in my opinion, is 5 stars. I would say that this, together with Nefarious Weapon and Lysander Spear, these 3 are the best relics, the legendary relics. The other 3 are pretty bad, so I would only go for these 3 if you want to get them, and they're pretty effective in the board when they're played. Well, not when they're played, the turn afterwards, but this essentially is basically a nerfed Nefarious weapon. Instead of destroying that creature, you pull it to the understand, but you're stalling the game, which is pretty awesome. So I'm gonna have to give this 5 stars. Then we have Elixir of the Snake. Each creature gets -3. If you're playing this against small time creatures, you can just kill them because they have less than 3 health. They die if they get the buff. But I've played this unsuccessfully. Actually, I think it was in the content creator playday. I did a super bad thing with this. So, but I still think it's an okay card. It's not great. There's better options for 6 mana, so I'm gonna give it 3 stars. And finally, we have Aries, Queen of Chaos. It's a 9 mana, 7/7, hidden deadly. When this creature attacks a god, obliterate the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck. So if this is played, and it has hidden, so at least you get 1 attack. So you're at least getting rid of 10 cards from your opponent's deck. So if you get more than 2 attacks, basically he has no more cards and you win the game. Unless he has the win condition right away, and if he has played it, this is kind of like winning. So it's not as strong as an Avatar of Magic where you win the turn afterwards, but it's pretty close. So I'm gonna have to put this in the 5-star category because it's really, really good. Getting rid of the opponent's deck, it's like if you only have like, typically you're only gonna be having, you need to draw at least 10 cards before you play this. Well, actually it's way more because it's 2 mana, 2 mana, 2 turns, 2 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns. So that would be 6, 10 turns plus 5. That would be 15 turns. So whenever you play this, each person would have already drawn 15 cards plus the initial cards you start in your hand, which are 3 cards. So that would be 18. If you play this the turn afterwards, they're gonna run out of cards in their deck. So it's pretty good. So 5 stars. And that's it for the deck review for the Deception cards for the Trial of the Gods expansion. Next one's gonna be the neutral cards. Stay tuned. Thanks out. Bye bye.